Hello class, and welcome back to Mr. Pool's online learning. And today we're going to be talking some science. We're going to be talking structures and functions of both plants and animals because they're both really closely related. So the structure is how parts of the animal or plant are put together. For example, on a tiger has kind of orangish colored fur, and it has stripes, and it's the way that's all laid out is the structure part of it. And then a function is how the structure helps the animal or plant function. So how does the stripes, the colors, and all those combined, how does that help the tiger function and be a tiger? How does his fur being those colors help him function? Think about that. Okay, I'm sure some of you have figured out that the tiger's coat is laid out that way to help him blend in with the grass. In Africa, where most tigers are found, the grass blends in with their skin and their coat, and it helps them to be camouflaged. So when they're coming upon an antelope or deer or some other kind of prey, that tiger's gonna blend in with the grass. Okay, so that's how it helps the tiger function. It helps the tiger function by helping it to get its food, by making its fur be sort of a camouflage. So its structure, the fur and the fur colors and the certain colors on there have a function. Okay, that those structures help the animal function and get the food that it needs. All right. Okay, so structures and functions, and they work together. They work together, so they work hand in hand. Okay, now I'm going to show you an example with a plant of how the structures that a plant has helps it function. Okay, so this is a tomato plant. Okay, and tomato plants are usually, 3-4 feet, probably not even that much more, probably 2 or 3 feet tall. And there's some tomatoes on it. I labeled the leaves. There's the stem. The roots are down here. This is dirt. This is the underground. Okay, so there's all different parts of the plant. Okay, and those are its structure. The stem is its structure. The leaves are part of its structure. Okay, the roots are its structure. Now, how does that help? How does that help the plant function? Well, first of all, do you know why a plant has so many roots underneath the ground? Yeah, one is so it can get water. It gets a lot of its water underground. Yeah, that's one of the functions of the roots, is to gather water. What's another function? Yes, some of them gather food through the roots. Yes, so food and water. What else? Why do you think there's so many down here? It's almost as big as the plant up above. The roots down below are almost as big as the plant up above. Why is that? Yeah, it holds it in place. All those roots are going to hold that plant in place. If the wind is blowing 30 miles an hour and that plant on top is swaying like this, it prevents that plant from just being ripped out of the ground. Yeah, that plant could easily be ripped out of the ground if it only had a few roots. It could just be easily pulled up. But those roots are part of its function, so it holds it in place and it keeps it where it is. So that's part of its function. Besides gathering food and water and nutrients and things like that, the roots also hold it in place. Okay, the leaves, the structure of the leaves is another thing. Why do you think these leaves are so wide and so big? Yeah, one of them is to gather water. So water can be gathered through the leaves. So one of its functions is to gather water. That's why the leaves are so big. What's another thing? I didn't draw it up here, but what would be yellow up in the corner up here? It gets really warm. It comes up every morning, sets every night. Yeah, the sun. The sun. So the sun, why would these big leaves, what would the sun have to do with those? Well, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. If the leaves are bigger, then the sun gathers more energy and it gets more nutrients from the sun. Okay, so that's why those leaves are bigger, to collect more energy. So it will become a bigger, more bountiful plant. So the fruit that it bears will become nice and red and good and tasty. Those are nice big tomatoes. So that's why, that's one of the functions of the big leaves. Okay, so each part of the plant has a function. Okay, and the structure and the function go together. Okay, now in your assignment, what I want you to do is, I think I've given you a choice of a couple animals. It might have been like a cheetah and an elephant on your assignment. And I want you to pick apart any part of either the cheetah or the elephant. And I think I might have gave you a giraffe too. You could do either of any of those animals, or if you want to, you can pick your own animal. Okay, so pick an animal and pick one structure of that animal. So just pick one thing about that animal. For example, if you were picking a cat, you could pick maybe its claws, or its paws, or its claws. Okay, what is the function of those? And give me three functions of whatever structure you pick. So you're going to pick one structure from an animal. For example, like for the plant, I picked the leaves to describe, or I picked the roots. Those are structures of the plant. And I said functions from those. Okay, remember the function of the roots was to gather water, food, and hold it in place. There's three functions of the roots. Okay, so we're not going to do a plant, because I've kind of went over a plant with you. And of course there's more with a plant. But you're going to pick an animal like a cheetah, like an elephant, like a giraffe. And you're going to pick one thing about that animal, one structure, just pick one. There's many structures. An elephant has many structures you could pick. You could pick its trunk. You could pick its tusks. You could pick its thick gray skin. You could pick a lot of things about an elephant. Okay, but just pick one and pick three functions that helps the animal to survive. Okay? All right. I hope you enjoyed learning about structures and functions. Okay? And have another good week of learning. Thanks for listening. All right, bye guys. Bye. Enjoy the nice weather we're having. Get outside today. All right. Bye guys. See you later.